Okay, this is page 2 of the review. So we're just going to simplify here. Negative underneath the square root means there's an I that comes out. I'll try to make sure I write that out better. Square root of 5. I'll put the I in front. Okay. Okay, square root of 25 is 5. Negative is 5I. Square root of 50 is 2 square root of 5. Negative underneath the square root is I. Oops, this is not right. That's 5 square root of 2. It's 25 times 2. Here, 4I minus 7I gives me negative 3I. I plus 3I root 2 gives me 4I root 2. This gives me 2I times 5I, which gives me 10I squared, which is equal to negative 10, because remember I squared equals negative 1. Remember up here, I is equal to the square root of negative 1. Okay, over here I get I squared times the square root of 2 times 3, or 6, so I get negative square root of 6, because I squared is negative 1. Rationalize the denominator. So I and I, it gives me 2I over 3I squared. Remember, I squared is equal to negative 1, so I get negative 2I over 3. Okay, rewrite this with an I. That's I root 2 on bottom. 6. So now I do have to multiply an I and a root 2 and I and a root 2. Okay, that gives me 6I root 2 on top. Gives me I squared times 2 on bottom. So I squared is negative 1, 2 goes into 6, 3 times, negative 3I root 2. Same thing here, square root of 9 is 3, square root of x squared is x, negative is the I. Square root of x squared is x, negative is the I, so now I get 4xi because there's one of those and 3 of the other. 24, that's I. Square root of 6y times I, square root of 2y. That gives me I squared, square root of 12y squared. 12 is 4 times 3, so that means it's a 2. Y squared is square root of 3, and the I squared is a negative 1. I squared accounts for the negative 1. 12 is 4 times 3. Square root of 4 is the 2. 3 stays inside. Square root of y squared is y. Remember, I squared is the negative. 25. Okay, that's I times 3 times the square root of 2 minus I times 2 times the square root of 2. So I get 3I root 2 minus 2I root 2. That leaves me with 1I root 2. And I gave you a similar problem. Okay, I times 3 root 2 times I times 2 root 2. So I get I squared. 3 times 2 is 6. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. So I get negative 12, because I squared is negative 1, and 6 times 2 is 12. And that's the end of page 2.